Let's each go with one top realistic pitching choice.
I picked Zach Gallen. I've always been just a fan of watching him pitch. I think he eats innings. He's not overpowering, but he can strike guys out. He is 2 years removed from finishing third in Cy Young voting to Blake Snell and Logan Webb. He knows Logan already. They're somewhat friendly. That's always a benefit in these things. I think because he had a really rough walk season, like he's looking at, probably looking at those 2, 3, 4 year deals. Maybe he's the guy who wants to, as you and I talk about sometimes, like come to Oracle, pitch well, get back on the market at some point. I went through his advanced stuff, and there's no obvious reason to me why last year was a down year for him. So I think he's going to be really good. He's 30 years old. I don't think he's an ace per se, but you have Logan at the top who's going to start opening day. And I think for next year, he could slide in really nicely as like a number 3 and then maybe take that Robbie Ray slot. And to me, he's just dependable. And we saw him 3 times this year, and the Giants got to him once, but the other 2 times he was really good. So, which maybe, you don't want to take into free agency because it's the Giants lineup from 2025. But I just think he still at times looks like Zach Gallen. And it seems to me like he's a guy who is not, I don't see his name as often in like these top 10, top 15. I see guys that I don't like as much ahead of him. So like projected to get like, I don't know. I think I'd feel almost as good about him as Dylan Cease. And it's maybe like a third of the contract. So. Yeah.
That's not a bad point. Now, you picked him. What about the other former Arizona big dog in Merrill Kelly?
Take them both.
I like that.
I've made this joke a million times, but the Giants would win like 4 extra games this year if they just didn't have to face Merrill Kelly. So,
exactly.
No, I like Merrill Kelly too. Those are the guys that kind of like, and I think your pick here fits in that too. Like, there are a lot of guys who I think could help and not be too risky long term, and I'd feel totally fine with them starting the 3rd game of the season or 4th game of the season.
All right, so we'll get to my pick. I was a big fan of him when he was in Oakland A, and we all saw him on the biggest show at the World Series this year. Is Chris Bassett.
There you go.
This is, you know me and my vibes-based picks. So I'm going a lot of this based off of guys I like. And you're talking more about diving into the advanced metrics, which I don't think any listeners are expecting out of Cole. But yeah, Chris Bassett's my guy. Much bigger step down from a signing like Dylan Cease, but I don't think he'd be an unreasonable signing as we talk about how the ownership has made it clear pitching is a space where they're not putting out massive contracts, most likely.
It's always impossible to know what the market's going to look like, but MLB Trade Rumors, I think, does a great job of just guessing and putting numbers out there that we can have fun with. They had Gallen at 4 years, $80 million, Bassett at 2 years, $38 million. If you took them both for that, I'd be totally fine with that. I know it's like incredible season. I just think you throw those 2 guys behind Webb and Ray and put Wind and Roop in there in the young pitching. I think you've solved your rotation issues and you haven't ruined your long-term flexibility.